Back up, and we're going to Harry. How you doing?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I wanted to run this by you guys and, tell me what y'all think. I believe that there is a God, and it has nothing to do with the Bible. It has nothing to do with Jesus Christ. It has nothing to do with Islam. It has to do with me answering a question that I would ask myself. And that question would be, where did I come from and everything else come from? And I have to give an answer to this. Like for instance, where did my tissue come from, my bone come from? How did it become so well organized that I am a living mass of flesh, or whatever you want to call it, that I can think, that I can feel, that I have emotions? Who designed all this here? And
why is it that, I don't mean to interrupt because I know you had more. Basically, you're talking about answering the question of the origin of life and the universe and everything, and that you feel a need to say, look at me, look at the greatness of the world around. Clearly, I don't know where I came from. Let me find an answer. And why do you think that there's something, that there is a designer? What is it that implies a designer? And why is it that you would think that God is the answer? Why you sub in a supernatural being, which you haven't defined yet, other than outside of Christianity or Islam. You can plug a supernatural, all-powerful being into any gap in knowledge to fill the hole. But that doesn't mean you've correctly answered the question. Isn't it okay to also say the answer to the question is, I don't know yet, because we don't know?
No.
Why isn't that okay?
Because this is why. Let me tell you.
Okay.
Since my existence, and when I say mine, I'm not saying my existence per se. I'm saying human beings, yourself. Right. When we come upon something that we don't quite understand, we call it a phenomenon, and we put it aside and work on it until we find an answer. Mm-hmm. But that is still short of creation. Why? How did I get here? That has to be answered. And when that question is answered, the only answer that is given is God. And God is a word.
That's the only answer that you. That's the only answer.
Hold on a minute. God is a word that describes something or some entity, whatever, that is greater than I. That it is I who cannot do the things, like for instance, I can't create you. You cannot create me.
Okay, are you proposing then that God is just a catchphrase for a concept, and that in fact the natural selection may be God?
Absolutely not.
Well, why not? Because that answers exactly what you said.
No, I'm not. Let me tell you exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that I myself has to give the tribute to something that is greater than I. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Like,
I understand it. I'm just saying that I disagree with you. You can do that. You are free to believe whatever you want.
Why would you disagree with me? That's why. That's why I wanted to run this by you.
I don't feel the need.
Logic. Hold on a minute. Out of logic and sense. That's what I'm saying. Out of logic and sense, right? We're going in a cohesive manner.
I understand what you're saying. Let me answer real quick. I don't feel the need to assume that I have to know everything right now. I'm perfectly happy to say, you know what? I've looked at the proposed origins. I've looked at the answers that various religions have applied, and I find all of them lacking. I see scientific answers, and while I think that they're incomplete, I think they're on the right track. And I'm perfectly comfortable to say, I don't know, and I may never know, but I will continue to look for an answer. But I don't feel any need to automatically fill that gap in knowledge with a hypothetical supernatural being who can do anything, who I need to revere. I don't feel that need,
Well,
and I don't think it is intellectually honest to do so.
Well, listen to
I
what
find it a cop-out.
Yeah, listen to what you just said, which seems to be as if though your left hand is fighting your right hand and there's no coordination, with yourself.
You're saying
said
there was
you
a
don't
contradiction?
Listen for a moment. You said you don't need to know everything, okay? And then you turn around and you says that you will still continue to search.
Yeah, because I would...
Okay, stop and think about what you just said.
I understand what you're saying. That doesn't necessarily mean there's a
contradiction. Still would continue.
All right, I'm going to put you on hold. I understand what you're saying. You don't have to hang up. Doesn't mean there's a contradiction. When I say that I don't feel that I need to know everything, doesn't mean that I don't want to. What I'm saying is that for now, I'm perfectly willing to accept the answer, I don't know or I don't yet know, and fill it in later. I don't, I understand that this particular wording could be viewed as a contradiction. I don't see it that way. I see it as actually, I'd rather know the right answer. I'd rather know that the answers that I know and accept, or the things that I believe, are true. And I don't find a God hypothesis to be something which I can know to be true. I think it's an answer that people accept when they can't really come up with a better answer, or aren't interested in the truth. They just have to have an answer right now.
I'm glad you put me back on. You put me up. Okay, listen to what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying to you, which you and I intelligently are different. I need to know. You don't need to know.
You
so
need
I
to know, and you're willing to fill in the hole with anything at all, even if it might be wrong?
I'm not. I'm making sense with you. I'm saying to you, I need to know. So it's a difference between you and I accept the difference because you clearly state to me you don't need to know. But I need to know because, I love intelligence.
Well, it's a fine question, and it's worth answering.
What I'm saying to you is this. I have to answer the question, where did I come from? Like, for instance, you go to a doctor who have studied, and you might ask him a question, how does the blood works in the body? And they'll say, after studying, they'll say, well, the blood carries oxygen, the different tissues need the oxygen, and this is how it works, and they exchanged it. So they're explaining to you,
right,
an understanding of what is actually happening before them, physically happening. I have to give myself an answer. Harry, where did you come from? Where did Don come from?
Does it matter if
Yes, it does, because I'm intelligent.
Does it matter to you, sir, if the answer is correct or if it's just filling the hole?
No, the answer has to be correct. I only believe what is true.
Then prove that your answer is correct.
Well, that's okay. This is what I'm saying. Since I cannot make a person, and a person cannot make another person. And
sure they do. My parents got together and made me.
I have to give an answer to how all
I
this
think
came
you need
about.
to study more on biology. My parents got together and made me. Their parents got together and made them. Their parents got together and made them. And we can follow that process back to the origins of life as we understand it now. We're still looking into the details of the process, but don't say that you can't make another human being. It happens all the time.
I think what you're doing is that you're playing with words. When I say make another human being, I'm talking about create one from nothing. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
show me an example.
Hold on a minute.
No, you hold on a minute. Show me an example of any human being who has ever been created out of nothing. Your explanation is a kind of a cop-out because you don't want to acknowledge that your answer raises even more questions. Where did God come from? What's God like? You've got this all-powerful entity filling in the answer for something that you cannot honestly answer.
Yes, I can answer. I'm saying to you, I have to answer the question, where did I come from? Okay? From the very beginning, not the chicken and the egg stuff.
Okay.
Because, see, it's evident that I'm here. I can touch myself, and when I touch myself, I can feel that my hand is touching that part of my body. Where did I come from? How did